Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Veil background information. I'm sorry that last month we didn't end up with any new videos. Unfortunately, I was ill with laryngitis and was told to rest as much as I could with my voice, so I couldn't do any recordings last month. So, and of course, August is my usual time off for recordings as well, so there won't be any next month. So you're just stuck with this month for the moment, I'm afraid. But today we're doing an Angels and Demons episode, and we're talking about Archangel Raphael, who's probably one of the most forgotten but still quite important archangels. So, as usual, I will begin with a slight quote from one of the stories where he's vaguely mentioned. Then I will give you the information, the background stuff that I've collected about them. I've had to trim it down a lot with a lot of the angels to things that are more relevant to how I actually view them and use them in my stories, because otherwise I'm just giving you things that are just insanely long and not necessarily always making as much sense. So, and then I'll give like a character profile for how they're represented, their character in my universe of Beyond the Veil. So let's get into it. Ugh, Raphael, that's the angel that's turned up to see us today. Sheesh. You'd think it would be a guardian angel and not the nice guy. It's hard to actually be sassy and an asshole to this guy when he's like the nicest guy ever. Quote from Hellbound. Their name means God heals, and everything about them is the colour green and the idea of healing. Raphael is one of the angels we might have heard of, but generally not for some amazing battle or deed, yet they've always held an important role. First mentioned in the Book of Tobit around the 2nd or 3rd century BCE, Raphael is also Saint Raphael, and holds a place in religion as a bringer of important and indeed good events. Often seen holding a flask of water or a staff or even a fish, they are always very linked to the healing capabilities of water, and certainly outside of religion, Raphael is an angel often called upon to aid with healing and lead towards exciting events. He is not named in the Quran or indeed the New Testament, but is identified later in the New Testament as the angel that stirred the waters of Bathsheba, and under the name of Israfil in Islam as the angel to carry the horn to sound out judgment. He is instead mentioned most prominently in Enoch, where he is identified as one of the four main archangels and holds a position over all disease and every wound that people endure. Alongside Enoch, the Book of Tobit discusses it too and states Raphael is amongst the 7 major angels, is also involved in healing and working as a physician. But he has a much more prominent role here. In fact, in Tobit, Raphael uses a magical fish to not only bind Asmodeus, but to heal Tobit's eyes. He takes the form of a human to travel with Tobit, calling himself as Azariah. Sorry. In the Talmud, Raphael is counted amongst the 3 angels who have come to Abraham, with Raphael having the duty to not only heal Abraham from his circumcision, but also to go out and save Lot. The Midrash Conan also states that Raphael's name was originally Libiel, God is my heart, which you may find listed as a separate angel in some other works or angel dictionaries. It includes a story regarding God taking counsel with the angels upon the creation of man, and well, through it, other angels are punished. Gabriel agrees that man is the best creation, and so his host is spared. Michael disagrees, and his hosts are destroyed. The Angel of Truth disagrees and is kicked down to earth, and Raphael, seeing what is happening and quick to learn, encourages his host to accept, saving them and being titled the Rescuer, and changing his name in response. It's actually an interesting story to look into, so if you want to, go look into it. Other stories within latter Judaism speak of many people calling upon Raphael specifically to help with healing others, or someone to speak to God on their behalf to aid in healing. In Christianity, of course, Raphael is held as a saint, but though he became associated with a nameless angel, he held no actual form or place until later, when his exploits in Tobit and the development of saints meant that he was brought in to stand with Michael and Gabriel as someone to be prayed to and to be represented in art too. In Islam, Israfil is a venerated archangel that keeps his lips to the trumpet, awaiting God's orders to sound the day of judgment as he sits upon the holy rock in Jerusalem. Israfil is given some slight description as standing tall enough to reach the pillars of heaven, with about 4 wings and is a beautiful master of music, and he is often considered the higher of the angels within the sphere, as he mediates between God and the other angels. In Islam, Israfil appears more lively and musical than the Christian counterpart that is deemed rather more quiet, and certainly in Angel Oracle it is put across as the very soft and gentle whispering sword. Now, unlike Michael and Gabriel, who have strong presence within popular culture, Raphael is much more often found in angelology and not really a character as such that's explored heavily or made to have presence. Although he is often mentioned in lots of shows and stories, he rarely stands out too much, and yet in Paradise Lost, not only does he remind Adam of the sin of eating from the tree, but discusses with him the war in heaven, giving us the account of what happened. My Raphael is genteel and very affectionate towards mankind, but he's also rather more tough than can be expected, so I hope you'll find his profile interesting below. Name, Raphael. Position, Archangel. Story featured in various mentions. Role, healer. Gender, agender. Description, though blue and green are their colours, their face is known to be gentle and beautiful, but also that they might have 4 or more wings. They are often known to be felt with a cooling, watery sensation about those they visit, and a cleansing sensation, but not much else is known of their description. Realm, Heaven. Abilities using healing waters and various other items. They can give healing powers too. They can heal any wound or malady with permission from the Almighty, and they are probably the best at listening to problems. They can give advice when asked and can give affection to anyone in need. They have the ability to encourage miracles, to guide other angels to save others, and overall protect humanity no matter what. Master of the Almighty. Personality, gentle, quiet for the most part, very attuned to pain and empathetic. Their facial features always mimic the pain that you are in, to show that they understand, as they love mankind greatly and can see all their best parts and want to heal them. They are so loving and happy that no one could think they might have a bad side, or at least have a temper. However, when they see mankind being threatened without any need, and indeed a demon dares to speak out of line about God's creation, or indeed hurt any of Raphael's brothers, they will silence them with water and can deliver a very nasty punch. Relations. Overall, everyone is adored by Raphael, and even when dealing with demons, they show affection for what they used to be. Sometimes daring to speak the old names or speak to them in that manner. They also want to give comfort, so there is no one they like more or less than any else. History. Born from the waters of life as well as the clouds, after Gabriel was created, Raphael was the one that seemed so pure and innocent upon creation that they were never needed to give much instruction to. They gathered all angels with a propensity to heal, and helped develop healing waters and springs, and guiding animals to plants that would aid them and their health through their days. Most of their time was spent between earth and heaven, always having something to do when they were not helping Gabriel sending messages around. They were often the one that every other angel talked to, explaining their doubts, but then being eased to know that some things were fine to doubt, and yet, most of the time, it would be easily revealed to them. Particularly, they had many of the complications caused by Lucifer, and Raphael was surprised. They liked Lucifer, but that being had problems they could not quite shift, and developed an ego that should never have existed within any of them. When Lucifer did rebel, Raphael was unsure how to react until war came, and they had to fight. First, they ushered Michael to get involved in the battle, but firstly they had to aid one of their brethren in taking down the demon Adramelech. But when they found Belial whispering and twisting, Raphael lost his temper and almost drowned Belial with his healing waters. When Michael became involved, Raphael stood firm and assisted in the cutting of wings from the fallen, and even throwing them, the sight of it startling everyone that watched it. Raphael, though, would show understanding later, and when man was brought up, and the Almighty asked what their thoughts were, Raphael was shocked to see that some of the guardians under Michael were pushed from heaven along with the Angel of Truth, only to find that there would be a reason for this. Raphael then had to aid in delivering the flood waters, and was saddened to have to remove life, but was very eager to agree with the creation of the veil. One of the things that shocked many, though, was the fact that Raphael was the one sent to help bind Azazel, and so he did, angry at the Watchers for what they had done to the humanity he loved greatly, and it was something all demons would remember, and remember why Raphael was not to be doubted. Within the veil, they are one of the few angels that were always given respect and thought of well no matter the species, and has always been held with great love there. Final comments? Raphael's just the sort of nice guy that you can't go wrong with, but protective when needed, and well, I hope you found this interesting, as next time we'll be talking about Beelzebub. Thank you, and goodbye.